All right, welcome back. It's the Bordas and Bordas hotline on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're here nightly, 7 nights a week. Call us, air your opinions. Bob Pompeani joined tonight by Paul Zeise, the pride of Penn Trafford High School. We have a lot of good high school stuff going on. It's going to be a long run and some very good teams. But I want to get right to the calls, Paul, because we have a little bit less time than we normally do today. So we're going to begin with Buppy in Crafton. What's up, Buppy?
Hey, Bob, how you doing? Hey, I tell you what, Bob, you are the sharpest dressed man in
Whatever my wife and Heinz Healy's decides, that's how it works.
But hey, I
Thank you.
just want to ask you one question. I know I probably could have Googled it, but I thought I'd ask an extra point of view. How does Roger Goodell get to keep his job? I mean,
Because they're making buku
do they
money.
vote on commissioner? I mean,
The
how
owners
does he
do.
get to keep?
The owners are the ones who decide. They like what he's doing, and some of them don't like him
Is
at
that
times.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
God, I mean, I just beg to differ. I mean, this guy has just made this NFL into like the laughing stock of the league.
He hasn't.
I mean, why is this league just falling apart? I mean, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars, big millions
but I
of
don't
dollars
think
every year.
The league is not falling apart. Thanks for the call, Paul. I mean, they're making more money than ever before. It's the hottest thing to watch on television. There's not falling apart. There are issues, there always are. But, I mean, they decided he's going to get $40 million a year for the next 5 more years.
Well, you know, there is some discussion that they're trying to replace him with Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner. There is some stuff going on there. There is some discussions about that. I mean, I think Roger Goodell.
For him to do both? Adam Silver can't do both.
No, I think for Adam Silver to come over.
Well, he just signed a 5-year, $200 million contract.
Yeah, but apparently there's some discussion about that.
Okay, for what reason?
Well, because they want to get rid of Roger Goodell and they feel like.
Why did they give him a 5-year, $200 million contract?
Because I don't know. I think at the time, weren't they making a lot of money?
They still are.
But since that happened, there's been a number of things that have gone, including this whole thing with Colin Kaepernick. You know what I mean? Which to me, I mean, I don't know if it's a win or a loss for who.
Yeah. What is justice? Is settling justice if you're them?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think people don't understand that if you're the NFL or you're Colin Kaepernick, settling is much better than going to court.
Everybody settles today. That's the only thing.
Exactly. And if you're the NFL, even if you feel like you have a case that can win, the thing about it is you've got to remember, once you get into the court part of the case and things now become public record, all of those general managers that were deposed, all of the discussions, all of the things that that his lawyers were able to ask your lawyers and also your financial people and all the other stuff, all that stuff becomes public record. If you're the NFL, you don't want that stuff out there. So it's worth it for you to settle. And if you're Colin Kaepernick, in order to prove collusion, you would have had to find somebody, some email, some memo, something, some smoking gun, which probably doesn't exist. So he knows, okay, his lawyer probably said, listen, if they offer us a settlement, we should take it.
Okay, well,
so both sides,
whatever the case may be, both sides are not allowed to talk about it, so you don't expect to hear anything about it. That's the way it goes these days. Let's go out to line 3. That's Joe in Uniontown. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
What's up?
Good. Paul's looking pretty cool over there. Let me ask you, ain't Bell under contract for the 2019 season yet?
No, he's a free agent. Bell? No. Bell is a free agent. Although the Steelers could still apply a tag, which has been discussed now for the last couple of days. And it would be a transition tag, which we still don't know what the price would be. Is it 14.5? Is it 9.5 million? And that will depend. You know, if Paul and Joe, if the decision is 9.5, you know, everyone is tossing out all these possibilities. One of them could be the Steelers will say, "We'll take you for 1 year for 9.5 if we feel you can add to our team and win games."
And how dumb would he be? How dumb would he be if he had any basically would
he walked away.
He walked away.
That's what I'm saying. He walked away from 14.5. He's going to sit out a second year, or he's going to play for $5 million less than they gave him last year. I mean, that to me is that would be really silly. If I'm the Steelers, I might go that route.
Yeah,
if I think I could get him,
that up, but I think it's
if I could get him for $9.5 million, I might say, you know what, we're not trading you, we're tagging you, and we're keeping you.
I think a lot of this also has to do with the Steelers are not going to allow a trend to begin of players dictating where they go and how they go about going where they go. They don't want that to happen.
Right.
And I also believe they know that Le'Veon Bell is still very good at what he can do. He's not going to get 9.5 from anyone else on a 1-year deal. This would be the opportunity. If he walks away from that, then you have to wonder if his heart's even in it at all. Next year he's getting nothing.
Right. If he sat out, it'd be $24.5 million.
Right.
Or 24, whatever. I mean, total. If he sat out the 2 years, it'd be a total of like 24.5 million, right?
Right. But here's the thing: if he had taken the original deal,
right,
the Steelers were not going to get rid of him one or 2 years into it. So even though it wasn't totally guaranteed, now yes, you run the risk if you get injured, they may decide. But still, the likelihood is you were going to be here for the duration.
And the Steelers, the precedent with the Steelers is they weren't going to throw you out in the street if you got hurt. And you know how he would have known that? How they treated Ryan Shazier.
Right.
They paid him this year even though he didn't play.
They didn't have to.
And they didn't have to.
But they decided to do it, and they're going to keep him around even beyond that. All right, let's go to line 4. Mike in East Deer. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Paul. How you doing this evening?
What's up?
Hey, I want to say, first of all, you guys are both looking very dapper tonight. I have to say that.
Well, I'm going to have to bring a Hopewell Viking shirt or something in here.
There you go. I want to talk to you real briefly about the Antonio Brown, Art Rooney Jr. situation. You know,
Art Rooney the second.
42-year season ticket holder from the Steelers, always rooting for him. Very disappointed in how the number of years recently have gone on. I'm really hoping that when Art Rooney Jr. looks Antonio Brown in the eye and makes him understand he made him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, that he can make Antonio understand.
Do you think that's what he's there to do?
No, I don't. But I'm hoping that Antonio seems very impressionable. He seems to have some issues going on. And I'd like to think that when Art Rooney looks him in the eye, he can make him understand the things that he has done for him in a positive manner. And hopefully he can make him understand that if he can play lights out for a year, that would increase his value to other teams.
To whom? He's still under contract for 3 years. That doesn't make any sense, and I wouldn't do it. Either you play or you don't. I think he has set himself up to move. He doesn't want to be here. He's made it very clear. Thank you for the call, Paul. I don't see another conclusion at this point. I don't. I think the Steelers may look very bad if they do it this way, and there could be, down the road, some other landmines with him that will go off when you least expect it or want it.
There's no way you can bring him back because you can't trust him. And to me, it's exactly what you're saying. You know, you could sit here and they could talk all they wanted till they're blue in the face, and they could bring Ben Roethlisberger in the room and they could talk till they're blue in the face. But what's going to happen the first time Juju Smith-Schuster gets five receptions and Antonio Brown gets 2? Is he going to blow a gasket? Is he going to, go crazy on Randy Fichtner? Is he going to smash the Gatorade, thing or whatever? I mean, is he going to, skip practices and all the other stuff that he's done? You can't trust him at this point.
No. And if he thinks there's a better spot, maybe, maybe not. Be careful what you wish for, because you can end up being on the receiving end of passes from Josh Johnson.
Yeah, down in D.C.,
Colt McCoy, Nathan Peterman. The list goes on. And then you wonder what he's going to be like.
You put him up in Buffalo. That's what
up to Buffalo.
Right.
All right, we're going to take a break. It's 412-575-2600. Give us a shout. We'll take those calls as we continue live right here on Pittsburgh CW.